a concretized approach, or we have is something that we develop that may get evolved. Now, this arena is really an opportunity for us to share with you our experience and also describe some of the SOP or the work processes that we have been doing in this country and also in this part of the world. Maybe the expert in this room can give comment of what we are doing. Now, for those of you who's going to be with us, and some of you, the lecturer speakers, are going to be our judges. We will tell you exactly the detail of how the unfolding of the rescue exercise and rescue competition for this program. Now, we like to use the word major incident and major casualty incident, or MCI, rather than disaster. Although we know that major incident is a generic definition which can either be small scale, large scale. But in Malaysia, most of our disasters are really small to medium scale or size. Now, it is high impact, high urgency incident, unpredictable, long-term effect, and affect large number of victims and depriving community from their livelihood. Many of these incidents affect the economy, status of community. As you all know, which I'm going to say again later, that the disaster types are divided into human-related, natural, or otherwise a combination or hybrid incidents. Now there are, as you all know, 3 different levels, and we actually try to make it as simple as this, but it's not as simple as that. And although some are minor, but it can be very complicated. Now, all these levels are there for us to know, but at the end of the day, really some of it involve other impact or complication. For example, when we have the MH17 shot at the Ukraine border, and when we have the MH370 that disappears until now, and we have the Ayer that actually crashes at the Indonesian sea. There are actually only about maybe 200 or 300 people, but the impact to the country is really something like Malaysia is an air disaster country, and those labeling doesn't help. And after a while, our Malaysian airline have got like almost at the brink of bankruptcy. Yeah? And well, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to mention that there's an example of some of these that affect economy. Now, I'm not going to tell you about this. Some of you are better than me, in fact, on definition. But just to mention that WHO defined, and it's really, I like this one, yeah, the result of a vast ecology breakdown, and in relation to between human and environment. And it can be very serious, very sudden, but some also quite slow, like in drought and haze. Now, of course, to think about the disaster risk management to prevent is an agenda which is so important, which is better value for money. Now, I'd like to mention to you that actually, if you look at this definition here, it's just not mortality. This serious disruption of functioning of a community or society is also considered as disaster. Now, I said to you really just now, and I'm already repeating myself, that natural disaster, earthquake, hurricane, and volcano, I'm reminding myself, I'm reminding Malaysians that actually we are not in the ring of fire, at least for now. And most of our disaster or incident is technology or human related. We are quite clever to create it ourselves. When we say Malaysia boleh, we also boleh. Malaysia boleh means Malaysia can do. Yeah, of course, we can do our own disaster. We need not get from God. And of course, there's also a combination of hybrid civil emergency, and we are also anxiously thinking of weapon of mass destruction that's happening in another country. Now, for Malaysia, please thank God, thank Almighty God that placed us right in the middle of the ring of fire. We are really not in the ring of fire. We don't have active volcanoes, we don't have the tectonic plates, and we don't have ring of fire. We are surrounded by it. And our good friend from the Philippines, Dr. Tetrabosa, they are called the 7-Eleven of disaster. Every night, every day, they can get it. Better friend from Indonesia, this is the supermarket of disaster. So the two countries, actually, that's why when we see Indonesian, I say Indonesian, not female Indonesian only, hug them and kiss them and say thank you, because they protect us. And the Sumatran island protect us from the tsunami. And that's why I know Dr. Rao would like to go to Lombok to hold Indonesian and kiss them. Huh? Rao, I mean the men as well, not only female. Huh? So this is the Ring of Fire, but I was told that the tectonic plate beside the Sumatra is coming closer to the Sumatran island. And in fact, we are getting to feel the tremors. And this is really worrying us too. Now, just to mention, I was, just now when Fadli introduced me, and he mentioned about this. This is the Directive 20, which I have to write a simple guideline for disaster management in this country. Well, it is just on the shelf, dusted with, and nobody really, well, they look at it, but most of them, they don't understand it. Because of the fact that when they respond, they just based on their culture and their memory. Well, this book describes clearly a different level of major incident. Level 1 at the district level, level 2 at the state and the national level, and level 3 beyond the resources that we have in this country. Now, I think, though it is very simplistic, but remember, even if it's a small disaster and it is complicated, it is still a big challenge. So we have this described in our National Security Council Directive 20. Now, if you look at on the left side, down, and you see the buses, and in fact, this happened just very close by, at the highway when you come down this last night or yesterday, and that highway, that was actually on the 10th of October 2010, so 10-10-10, and that was when a horrendous accident happened in this country, and we could not rescue because the roads are all blocked and jammed. Now the other one, if that building collapse, was extremely memorable to me. Now that building collapse is called the Highland Towers collapse. It was in 1993. I just got back from the United Kingdom, and I was just given the post at the head of emergency services for this country. I was about 30-something at the time, and the first challenge was the Highland Towers. And those memories never got off from me. And I think it was really the catalyst for me to go into the intervention of disaster management or major incident. Now, of course, Malaysia have to realize that our country is a country with small capacity. At any time the challenge is getting much bigger, we seek assistance from our neighboring country. For that, we really must thank every one of you all have been with us to the seas, and also especially Japan government through JICA, and also from the America, and also from the adjacent country. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually been challenged by many fairly large-scale major incidents, and in 2014, the country was devastated by a huge flood. And I just want to mention to you that Dr. Dato, who is from the state of Kelantan, who's here to share with us what has happened to him personally during that disaster when he was caught in a very fast rising waters, and it almost really got him actually washed away by the river. But I'm not going to steal his limelight. He's going to share with you. And just to mention to you that actually it is predictable that every end of the year, very soon, in a few weeks' time, there was the monsoon rain will challenge us, and we really hope. But surprisingly, after this many years, our response, our management is still not the best, especially in managing the displaced population. So this is something that we really have to beef up and improve. Now, as for the challenges, I have mentioned to you just now that the significant impact to community, it is high visibility, very emotive, and actually activate public reaction. Now, obviously, the big challenges like this requires multi-agency and multi-sectoral collaboration. Now, we always talk about the technical aspect of the rescue. We almost forget that we are dealing with human, And this is why a lot of the insertion of the humanistic value, the psychological reaction, and of course the management of psychological reactions in the form of psychological first aid. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you have seen this video, and where you see the devastation and something that is unbelievable. And this has resulted in thousands and thousands of people dying. And this is the wrath of nature. Now, I'm sure when you see that, you get some reaction. Now, for that, I keep pondering in my quiet hours how to create the opportunity. And this is why we created this arena. Now, this arena started from 20110, and in 20111 we had it in Genting Highland, and the third iMIREX was up north, and the 20114, some of you were here with us, it was in Sarawak, and now this year, here now, this morning, we are in Malacca. Now, this is some of the pictures of those iMIREX that we had a few years ago. Now, actually, the environment is very electrifying and very exciting. People with uniform camp together in a kind of a jamboree environment, and they live simple, and they are ready to respond. And the scenario will be injected day and night for them to go and rescue. And I'll talk to you in a while about the different type of rescue exercise or competition that we're going to be having. Now, they will be living like this in a camp, and of course, they are encouraged to develop their own motivational and psyche dance. And I must introduce to you the guy who is at the top of that picture in orange. Can I see Dr. Kamarul? He is the hero at that time, and he won the best warrior for that intervention. And he created a team that can make the sound of tiger. Huh? Can you make it again this time? All right, that's Dr. Kamarul. Well, very exciting, very exciting. And this is the iMIREX 2014. Now, if you notice, the iMIREX logo do not change very much, but only the insertion of the traditional values of the different states. Now, when we had it in iMIREX in Sarawak, Sarawak is famous for the hornbill bird, and that's why there is a hornbill, and of course those patterns. And it is the Aborigines of Sarawak that have got those patterns, and that's very, very typical of Sarawak. This is some of those. Let's speak Dr. Fikri, Professor Fikri Abdul when he was younger by 2 years. But somehow he's getting younger. He's the only man in the world that I know that actually aging but getting younger. Now, this is the judges in orange and the team in different uniform. And you look at the excitement that we created. And you will see this in 2 or 3 days' time. And they are all charged, driven, and motivated. And they are ready to respond. Now, as I mentioned to you just now, the concept of the iMIREX is a simulation, and it is meant to stimulate. And it is meant to activate all senses, deep feeling and emotion. And it's also supposed to be motivating, and most importantly, create an empathy and energizing. You dare to tell me to stop? They forgot. You see, this is Antipat. This is Antipat. Huh? Please mention who's your boss. Huh? Anyway, I will stop soon, don't worry. It is empathizing and energizing, and we require strong action. Yeah? And as I was telling you just now, featuring the update current challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, simulation training in the world is something that has been established a long time. But we are now using it in a big way. I do it for my work around, and I do it for learning process and procedure. Now, really, it replicates emergency and major incident situation. It actually gives us chance to evaluate the response. And it instigate adrenaline rush. And we can see. Just to tell you, yesterday we had the Moulage, trauma Moulage competition. And we had some young St. John responded to be the patient. I saw they almost did PR, practical examination, on these young actors. And because they are so charged and driven, they thought that this is really patient. And some of them got stripped completely. And in fact, those girls said that, boss, they're really stripped I said, enjoy. Huh? And one of my assistants said to me that, boss, they put their hand everywhere, boss. They are trying, they try to insert drip and all that. I said, don't worry, I'll pay them some money for being an actor. Then she said, huh? Amrit said, 50 ringgit for all this, manipulating and all that. I said, well, usually we have to pay if you want to rub, we want to touch anyone. But this time, they've been touched and they've been paid. Huh? Adrenaline rush is something real. And if you simulate it really well, you get the adrenaline rush. Now, quickly, I'm just going to go through a little bit of this concept of simulation to stimulate and to activate all senses, to activate response and stimulate learning and practice opportunity. But I like the last one, that actually initiate rapid learning curve. I have to mention this. I got 4 specialists from Indonesia. Can I see them standing up? I'm very proud of them. Where is the 4 Indonesian specialists? Sato, Imamul, Asaari, and these are the 4 of them who've been sent by the bosses. The bosses are here. Papa and Yugi. They sent this 4 to me. Well, these people were very much fatter before, but they're already very thin now. Why I put them up to show you? Because I called them and told them within last week only, I said, you are going to be competing. And they start learning. And because of this concept of rapid learning curve, when they have to compete, and give them an applause that they want to take place for the drama mustache. And this is what I meant by when you drive people to perform, they will perform. And inshallah, like I said, provide them the arena, give them the platform, give them the opportunity. And it's just that all of them become good responders, but we get the best of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you know about the different types of simulation. All I want to mention, the definition of fidelity simulation. We do low fidelity simulation during our walk round, and now we do medium fidelity, and of course, we put them in a loop. We call it human in the loop simulation, and in that synthetic environment. Now, I'm not going to go much detail on simulation. I just want to mention too that we conduct a lot of competency-based medical education, and to arrive at a competency chartered course, or what we call the milestone of the skill development. Now, this is to deliver a competency-based medical practice. You notice that I put in red, time is not a framework. Time is not the determining factor. Time is just a resources. Because you give the 4 Indonesian 1 week, they can win. You give somebody, I give my staff, you know this thing about having the Sultan and all that to come to perform? I told them only yesterday at 6 p.m. And yet you see how great they perform this morning. Round of applause to Dr. Hafiz Khan and the team. But they always don't like me because they said the boss, and sometimes they say, don't tell the boss. You tell him, he will change last minute. But I told them, you need the Midas touch. You need me. So I'm still relevant to them. I'm retiring next year. So I told them, I'm not retiring, I'm just moving on. So I'm moving to maybe fishing. Huh? I know I was clapping very loudly. This is I'm going to do fishing, I'm going to go to the mosque, and then pray hard for somebody else to take care of my beloved staff. But of course, as I said to all of you, moving on is something exciting, an opportunity to do something else. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to bore with you with much more. Just quickly, I'm going to show you the module. This is where we're going to have it, in the simulated arena in the Botanical Garden and Forest Day. Very nice place. Those who like jungle, it's a lovely place. And some of you, if you have time, you want to go visit this place, come along. For those who may not be there during the competition. And this is all the competition environment, and where we actually set camping site for people to stay. Please be invited. Any one of you in this room still want to come to this, if you haven't registered, please register. We have got Air Asia package now, very, very cheap. Because we got the conference already, for those of you who want to join in, although our original registration fee is quite high, this time just be welcome and bring your colleague and enjoy the simulated environment. Now, just quickly, there is about 6 or 7 modules. Yeah, just to show you, these are the modules. I'm not going to talk about the work process, I'm not going to talk about this. And this is the general work process. For those of you who's going to be the judges, you will be given a short course on the iMIREX work process. Actually, it's all the same. Just maybe using different terminology, but otherwise it's all about the same. Now let me just go through quickly the module. This is the ground zero, but this is real. This is not simulated. Yeah, this is real. I know you don't like the scene. There's no departure in Delhi. People, this happened in Genting. One busload of Indian tourists, and they met an accident. So this is a classical. You can see that two-person is called disaster tourism. Anyway, now the simulation quickly. One, we have a competition on the campsite preparation, campsite setup. We'll give them a theory of how to set up the camp and what we see in the camp. And then the camp must be set up properly with the features like this. 3 zones. One is the domestic area, the rest area, and of course pantry and where they can rest and sleep. Then the middle part is a strategic area, and of course the third part is a clinical area. Now if you see, now this is some of the features of this camp. You have all the equipment, and these are what we call the ready to roll equipment for rescue, and we want to see that. If they go on looking for something from the shelf and they take time to respond, that's not good enough. They must actually have ready to roll equipment, and all this will be inspected by the judges, and the judges will mark them down if they don't have it. Now it is not a secret, it's an open book. In fact, anybody wants my slide, they can have it, because we want them to prepare. We want to get the best of the best. We don't want to have any surprises during the competition. And this is some of the pictures of the competition, and the referees looking for all those things that we told them to look for. Now, as I was saying, the campsite organization. And the next one, we talk about team profile, personality, and professionalism. We look at the team spirit, team culture and identity, teamwork and effectiveness, and of course, some of this team discipline, professional conduct, and so on. And if you look at this, some of these things, you can sense it, you can feel. They're all ready, charged and driven, and ready to perform. Again, Dr. Kamaru. And of course, if you look at that, then we ask them to do some form of motivational and psyche dance, to see how you actually charge each other. So they perform like that, yeah? They dance and they get ready to rescue. And of course, we have to mention to everyone, organizational, we name them with certain name, and they are supposed to play a certain role. For example, on-scene medical commander, quartermaster, medical search and rescue officer, medical liaison officer, clinical commander, transport coordinator, and so on. I'm not going to bore you with this, but to show you that all of them will be guided with this. They have got a card, job description, that they know what they're supposed to do, and we want them to label themselves with an armband or bandana or something to know who they are. Now the MESARO, medical search and rescue officer, and liaison officer, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay, quartermaster, and they have got all that. I'm not. Then we have MRP, medical response, rescue personnel. Like I said, I put it up just for you to see that we have all those prepared. And then of course, the simulation setup, we tell them about the different zone, and the hot zone and the green zone and so on in the disaster incident site. And we also tell them the kind of processes that they have to do. But like I said, it is not in a cookbook or a menu. They just have to learn the culture. Now this is an example. This is the first challenge that I have in my life. And when I came back from the United Kingdom, this Highland Towers collapsed, and all the responders, and you see there is a Japanese lady who have been rescued using this crane, and that was when I got, and she had a crushed pelvis, and we tried to save her, and then I don't have any equipment, so I brought her back to hospital, and we did surgery, and we lost her, and that was when I got the idea to invent the Nina pelvic clamp that you will see. They are using it now, and yesterday I found that some of them do not know how to use it yet. Anyway, terrible, huh? I mean, they don't even know how to use pelvic clamp, which I invented. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nothing sentimental, just to tell you that that was where I got the idea from. Anyway, these are some of those pictures of this question. Night rescue module, module number 1. Night rescue, and just now we talked campsite, team, now night rescue. And then of course at night, environment, total darkness, and they use all their senses and how to rescue. And this is the work process. And then this is a scoring system. And then we have hydro rescue. And this was when the exercise was done in Sarawak. And then we have the marking system. And then we have some of the clinical syndrome. must be identified when they rescue. If they don't tell us about the clinical syndrome, then their rescue is meaningless. We will ask them, what are you rescuing and what are you going to do as far as intervention is concerned. This is a marking system and scoring. And again, mass casualty incident, where it is overwhelming, high risk, and also very, very challenging. And there are some of the works process and so on. Well, yeah, the other one is hazmat and CBRNE competition, and of course the marking system. And this is interesting. We are actually the competition module number 5. We put them as into a robust and resilient competition, and in between interspersed with the medical procedure intervention. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of it, and if you are joining us, you also will see that we have competition without using medical equipment. They are only using whatever resources they have around them. This is scoring system. Anyway, we encourage them to learn about the different type of intervention and so on. Report to the forensic department. Yeah, and finally, we will have to also deal with critical incident stress management, that's psychological first aid. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of it has been introduced, but we continue to develop a different intervention type. And just to mention to every one of you that we have experienced this, and we know there are a lot of things that we need to improve. So, thank you very much for your attention, and I must say to you that I'm sure next 2 years when we have it again, we have a lot more to add on to. So with that, thank you and enjoy yourself. And those of you who haven't registered for iMIREX completion, please come by and join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato, for that informative and elaborate speech, as always.